Thank you for watching. More subscribers means better quality free videos. Please subscribe if our videos add value to your life. Please subscribe if you value our time that is spent on video creation.
International Organizations of Pre-1920s Establishment Timeline. (700 BCE to 338 BCE), Latin League. 550 BCE to 366 BCE, Peloponnesian League. 478 BCE to 404 BCE, Delian League. 338 BCE to 322 BCE, League of Corinth. (1815), CCNR, Central Commission for Navigation of the Rhine. 1865, ITU, International Telecommunication Union. 1874, UPU, Universal Postal Union. 1875, BIPM, International Bureau of Weights and Measures. 1899, PCA, Permanent Court of Arbitration. 1902, ICES, International Council for the Exploration of the Sea. 1919, BBSU, Baltic Black Sea Union. 1919, ILO, International Labour Organization. International Organizations of 1920s Establishment Timeline.
1920 to 1946, LN, League of Nations. 1920 to 1931, Council of Ambassadors, Conference of Ambassadors of the Principal Allied and Associated Powers. 1921, MUN, Model United Nations. 1921, BLEU, Belgium-Luxembourg Economic Union. 1921, IHO, International Hydrographic Organization. 1923, Interpol, International Criminal Police Organization. 1923, IPHC, International Pacific Halibut Commission. 1924, OIE, World Organization for Animal Health. 1925, IBE, UNESCO, International Bureau of Education. 1926, Commonwealth, Commonwealth of Nations. 1926 UNIDROIT, International Institute for the Unification of Private Law.
International Organizations of 1930s Establishment Timeline.
1930, BIS, Bank for International Settlements. 1933, G4, Big Four. 1933, Quadripartite Agreement, Four Power Pact. 1937, PSC, Pacific Salmon Commission. 1938, Munich Agreement.
International Organizations of 1940s Establishment Timeline.
1943, CIMMYT, International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center. 1944, Benelux, Benelux Union. 1944, WBG, World Bank Group. 1944, IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. 1945 to 1990, Four Powers, Allied Control Council. 1945 to 1950, ITO, International Trade Organization. 1945, Arab League. 1945, IMF, International Monetary Fund. 1945. UN, United Nations. 1945. UNGA, United Nations General Assembly. 1945. UNSC, United Nations Security Council. 1945. ECOSOC, United Nations Economic and Social Council. 1945. United Nations Secretariat. 1945 to 1994. United Nations Trusteeship Council. 1945. ICJ, International Court of Justice. 1945. FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. 1946 to 1958. French Union. 1946. UNAEC, United Nations Atomic Energy Commission. 1946. UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. 1946. UNICEF, United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. 1946. IWC, International Whaling Commission. 1947. SPC, Pacific Community. 1947. ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization. 1948. OAS, Organization of American States. 1948. ICCS, International Commission on Civil Status. 1948. IMO, International Maritime Organization. 1948. OEEC, Organization of European Economic Cooperation. 1948. APFIC, Asia-Pacific Fishery Commission. 1948. IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature. 1948. WHO, World Health Organization. 1949. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. 1949. OEI, Organization of Ibero-American States. 1949 to 1991. COMECON, Council for Mutual Economic Assistance. 1949. COE, Council of Europe. 1949. IATTC, Inter-American Tropical Tuna Commission. 1949 to 1952. IAR, International Authority for the Roar.
International Organizations of 1950s Establishment Timeline. 1950. Colombo Plan. 1950. NAFO, Northwest Atlantic Fisheries Organization. 1950. WMO, World Meteorological Organization. 1951. ANZUS, Australia, New Zealand, United States Security Treaty. 1951. IOM, International Organization for Migration. 1952. Nordic Council. 1952. WCO, World Customs Organization. 1954. CERN, European Organization for Nuclear Research. 1954. Great Lake Fishery Commission. 1954 to 2012. UL, Latin Union. 1954 to 1977. SEATO, Southeast Asia Treaty Organization. 1955 to 1979. CENTO, Central Treaty Organization. 1956. ICCROM, International Center for the Study of the Preservation and Restoration of Cultural Property. 1956. AALCO, Asian African Legal Consultative Organization. 1956. CEB. Council for Europe Development Bank. 1956. IFC. International Finance Corporation. 1956. OSJD. Organization for Cooperation of Railways. 1957. IAEA. International Atomic Energy Agency. 1958. EAEC or Euratom. European Atomic Energy Community. 1958 to 1995 French Community. 1958. NEA. Nuclear Energy Agency. 1958 to 1961. UAS. Union of African States. 1959. AIT. Asian Institute of Technology. 1959. IADB. Inter-American Development Bank. 1959. Conseil de l'Entente.
International Organizations of 1960s Establishment Timeline. 1960. CABEI. Central American Bank for Economic Integration. 1960. Eurocontrol. European Organization for the Safety of Air Navigation. 1960. EFTA. European Free Trade Association. 1960. OPEC. Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. 1960. IDA. International Development Association. 1960. IRRI. International Rice Research Institute. 1961. WEOG. The Group of Western European and Other States, or Western European and Other States Group. 1961. NAM. Non-Aligned Movement. 1961. SECOFA. System of Cooperation among the American Air Forces. 1961. OECD. Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. 1961. WFP. World Food Program. 1962. G10. Group of 10. 1962. ESO. European Southern Observatory. ESO, alias of European Organization for Astronomical Research in the Southern Hemisphere. 1963. OAU. Organization of African Unity. 1964. ECCAS. Economic Community of Central African States. 1964. G77. Group of 77. 1964. AFDB. African Development Bank. 1965. SEAMEO. Southeast Asia Ministers of Education Organization. 1965. Group of 9. 1965. UNDP. United Nations Development Program. 1966. CERLALC. Regional Center for the Promotion of Books in Latin America and Caribbean. 1966. ADB. Asian Development Bank. 1966. ICSID. International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. 1966. ICCAT. International Commission for Atlantic Tunas. 1966. UNIDO. United Nations Industrial Development Organization. 1966. UNDCF. United Nations Capital Development Fund. 1967. ASEAN. Association of Southeast Asian Nations. 1967. ILL. Institut Louis Langevin. 1967. CIAT. International Center for Tropical Agriculture. 1967. IIDA. International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. 1967. SEAFDEC. Southeast Asian Fisheries Development Center. 1967. WIPO. World Intellectual Property Organization. 1969. OIC. Organization of Islamic Cooperation. 1969. CAN. Andean Community. 1969. CDB. Caribbean Development Bank.
International Organizations of 1970s Establishment Timeline.
1970. OIF. Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie.
1970. FMO. Netherlands Development Finance Company. 1971. PIF. Pacific Islands Forum. 1971. G24. Intergovernmental Group of 24. 1971. COST. European Cooperation in Science and Technology. 1971. Africa Rice. Formerly WARDA. Africa Rice Center. 1971. PIF. Pacific Islands Forum. 1971. World Veg. World Vegetable Center. 1972. UNU. United Nations University. 1972. EUI. European University Institute. 1972. ICRISAT. International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics. 1972. UNEP. United Nations Environment Program. 1972. IIASA. International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis. 1973. OSCE. Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. 1973. OLADE. Latin American Energy Organization. 1973. CARICOM. Or CC. Caribbean Community. 1973. BOAD. West African Development Bank. 1974. ESF. European Science Foundation. 1974. HELCOM. Baltic Marine Environment Protection Commission. 1974. EMBL. European Molecular Biology Laboratory. 1974. IEA. International Energy Agency. 1974. IPGRI. And INIBAP. Bioversity International. 1974. NSG. Nuclear Suppliers Group. 1974. UNWTO. World Tourism Organization. 1975. IFPRI. International Food Policy Research Institute. 1975. G6. Group of 6. 1975. ECOWAS. Economic Community of West African States. 1975. ECMWF. European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts. 1975. NIB. Nordic Investment Bank. 1975. ESA. European Space Agency. 1975. World Fish. World Fish. 1976. G7. Group of 7. 1976. OFID. OPEC Fund for International Development. 1977. EPO. European Patent Organization. 1977. IFAD. International Fund for Agricultural Development. 1977. ICARDA. International Center for Agriculture Research in the Dry Areas. 1978. UN Habitat. United Nations Human Settlements Program. 1978. ICRAF. World Agroforestry. International Organizations of 1980s Establishment Timeline. 1980. CCAMLR. Commission for the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources. 1980. NEAFC. Northeast Atlantic Fisheries Commission. 1981. OECS. Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. 1981. GCC. Gulf Cooperation Council. Cooperation Council for the Arab States of the Gulf. 1982. IOC. Indian Ocean Commission. 1982.
NEAFC.
The Forum of Ministers of the Environment of Latin America and the Caribbean. 1983. CTA. ACPEU. Technical Center for Agricultural and Rural Cooperation. 1983. IDLO. International Development Law Organization. 1983. NASCO. North Atlantic Salmon Conservation Organization. 1984. CD. Conference on Disarmament. 1985. ECO. Economic Cooperation Organization. 1985. Mercosur. Southern Common Market. 1985. SAARC. South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. 1985. AER. Assembly of European Regions. 1985. AG. Australia Group. 1985. WNC. West Nordic Council. 1985. Eureka. E. 1985. OTIF. Intergovernmental Organization for International Carriage by Rail. 1985. IWMI. International Water Management Institute. 1986. ZPCAS. South Atlantic Peace and Cooperation Zone. 1986. MSG. Melanesian Spearhead Group. 1986. IGAD. Intergovernmental Authority on Development. 1986. GRIO. The Rio Group. 1987. MTCR. Missile Technology Control Regime. 1987. COL. Commonwealth of Learning. 1988. AMU. Arab Maghreb Union. 1988. IPCC. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
1988. COSPA Sarsat. International COSPA Sarsat Program.
1988. MIGA. Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. 1989. APEC. Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. 1989 to 1990. ACC. Arab Cooperation Council. 1989. G15. Group of 15. 1989. CEI. Central European Initiative. 1989. FATF. Financial Action Task Force. 1989. NDF. Nordic Development Fund. 1989. WANO. World Association of Nuclear Operators.
International Organizations of 1990s Establishment Timeline. 1990. NACA. Network of Aquaculture Centers in Asia Pacific. 1990. AOSIS. Alliance of Small Island States. 1991. CIS. Commonwealth of Independent States. 1991. SICA. Central American Integration System. 1991. PAERLACEN. Central American Parliament. 1991. EAS. East Asia Summit. 1991. V4. Visegrad Group. 1991. EBRD. European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. 1991. ECT. Energy Charter Treaty. 1991. IEF. International Energy Forum. 1992. BSEC.
Organization of the Black Sea Economic Cooperation. 1992. CSTO. Collective Security Treaty Organization. 1992. ERA. Academy of European Law. 1992. SADC. Southern African Development Community. 1992. CBSS. Council of the Baltic Sea States. 1992. GEF. Global Environment Facility. 1992. PICES. North Pacific Marine Science Organization. 1993. TRASCA. Transport Corridor Europe Caucasus Asia. 1993. SPREP. Secretariat of the Pacific Regional Environment Program. 1993. Turksoy. International Organization of Turkic Culture. 1993. EU. European Union. 1993. CIFOR. Center for International Forestry Research. 1993. ICMPD. International Center for Migration Policy Development. 1993. ICTY. International Criminal Tribunal for the Former Yugoslavia. 1994. PPD. Partners in Population and Development. 1994. UEMOA. West African Economic and Monetary Union. 1994. ACS. Association of Caribbean States. 1994. ESRF. European Synchrotron Radiation Facility. 1994. ICTR. International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. 1994. ILRI. International Livestock Research Institute. 1994. ISA. International Seabed Authority. 1994. UNAIDS. Joint United Nations Program on HIV and AIDS. 1994. PEMSI. Partnerships in Environmental Management for the Seas of East Asia. 1995. The South Center. 1995. International IDEA. International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance. 1995. MRC. Mekong River Commission. 1995. FEAS. Federation of Euro-Asian Stock Exchanges. 1995. WTO. World Trade Organization. 1995. KEDO. Korean Peninsula Energy Development Organization. 1996. Union State. Union State of Russia and Belarus. 1996. Arctic Council. 1996. CPLP. Community of Portuguese Language Countries. 1996. OCCAR. Organization for Joint Armament Cooperation. 1996. IOTC. Indian Ocean Tuna Commission. 1996. ICMP. International Commission on Missing Persons. 1996. WA. The Wassenaar Arrangement. 1997. Go8. Group of 8. 1997. ASEF. Asia-Europe Foundation. 1997. IORA. Indian Ocean Rim Association for Regional Cooperation. 1997. ZICUSR. The Integration Zone of the Central West of South America. 1997. INBAR. International Bamboo and Rattan Organization. 1997. BIMSTEC, Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. 1997. BSTDB, Black Sea Trade and Development Bank. 1997. CTBTO, Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty Organization. 1997. OPCW, Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. 1997. UNODC, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. 1998. NAC, New Agenda Coalition. 1998. ICC, International Criminal Court. 1999. UNDRR, United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. 1999. G33, Group of 33. 1999. ACWL, the Advisory Center on WTO Law. 1999. G20, Group of 20. 1999. JSCA, the Justice Studies Center of the Americas. 1999. BIC, British Irish Council.
International Organizations of 2000's Establishment Timeline. 2000. EAC, Eurasian Economic Community. 2000. EAC, East African Community. 2000. MCG, Mekong-Gunga Cooperation. 2001. SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. 2001. GUAM, Organization for Democracy and Economic Development. 2001. AU, African Union. 2002. ACD, Asia Cooperation Dialogue. 2002. AITIC, Agency for International Trade Information and Cooperation. 2002. REEP, Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Partnership. 2003. NDPHS, Northern Dimension Partnership in Public Health and Social Well-Being. 2004. ALBA, Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America. 2004. UNASUR, Union of South American Nations. 2004. ATS, Antarctic Treaty Secretariat. 2004. ACAP, Agreement on the Conservation of Albatrosses and Petrels. 2004. WCPFC, Western and Central Pacific Fisheries Commission. 2005. G5, Group of 5. 2005. RECSA, the Regional Center on Small Arms in the Great Lakes region, the Horn of Africa and bordering states. 2005. Energy Community. 2006. CIS2, Community for Democracy and Rights of Nations. 2006. EDB, Eurasian Development Bank. 2006. ITF, International Transport Forum. 2006. UNHRC, United Nations Human Rights Council. 2008. AFI, Alliance for Financial Inclusion. 2008. UFM, Union for the Mediterranean. 2008. Euclid, Euclid University. 2009. CCTS, or Turkic Council, the cooperation of Turkic-speaking states. 2009. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. 2009. XEFL, European X-ray Free Electron Laser Facility.
International Organizations of 2010's Establishment Timeline. (2010) CLACS, Community of Latin American and Caribbean States. 2010. NPDI, Non-Proliferation and Disarmament Initiative. 2011. SE for All, Sustainable Energy for All. 2011. TCS, Trilateral Cooperation Secretariat. 2011. U-Report. 2013. AWEB, Association of World Election Bodies. 2014. DN, Digital Nations. 2014. Eurofusion, the European Consortium for the Development of Fusion Energy. 2014. FIPIC, Forum for India-Pacific Islands Cooperation. 2014. NDB, New Development Bank. 2015. AIIB, Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank. 2015. EAEU, Eurasian Economic Union. 2015. ISA, International Solar Alliance. 2017. IHRC, International Human Rights Commission Umbrella Fund. 2017. SESAME, the Synchrotron Light Experimental Science and Applications in the Middle East.
Video creation resources.